Hello, today we're going to be thinking about one-point perspective. One-point perspective helps us to show depth in a picture, or like we could actually drive up into that road, okay? So one-point perspective is a way to draw or make a drawing that shows how things appear to get smaller as they get further away, okay? Moving towards a single vanishing point where it disappears on the horizon line. Horizon line is where Earth and sky meet. It's a way of drawing objects on a flat piece of paper so that they look realistic, three-dimensional, okay? This picture here is from artprojectsforkids.org, a really cool and fun website, and it shows here in this picture how the road goes back into the picture by using a horizon line, or where the sky and the earth meet, and a vanishing point where everything disappears. The only two things that we need today to do this project are a pencil and a piece of notebook paper, okay? You can tear out of a notebook. We're going to be using lined paper. We're going to hold it in the portrait vertical up and down direction, okay? We're going to take the top of the paper, bring it down to the bottom, and we're going to rub back and forth, okay? And that's going to give us kind of the center of our paper, all right? So I'm going to be looking for that line that is just above that center fold that we made, okay? I told you guys are going to be using pencil. I'm going to be using marker only because I want you to be able to see what I'm doing, okay? So the first step is, remember we talked about finding that line on our notebook paper that's right above the fold that we made, and mine's right here. This is going to become my horizon line where earth and sky meets. So this is going to be the earth part of my picture, and this is going to be the sky part, okay? Then on my horizon line right here, I'm going to guesstimate. I'm not going to worry about being exact today. I'm going to guesstimate where the center is, okay? Now, if I used a ruler, it probably would not be in the center, but we're just guessing today. We're going to be drawing nature, so it doesn't matter if it's not perfect. Okay, so I'm going to start at that vanishing point right here, and I'm going to pretend I'm drawing a triangle. I'm going to go down to the edge of my page right here, okay? And then I'm going to go over a little bit to the other side, and I'm going to go down on the other side like that. Since this is going to be my road, I'm going to draw way back here by the vanishing point. They're going to be short and smaller, okay? And then as I get closer and closer to the front, my rectangles are going to get bigger and wider, okay? And then maybe even one just peeking off the end of the page right here at the bottom, okay? Then I'm going to draw some overlapping mountains in the back just to kind of make my landscape look nice and realistic. So I'm going to draw a triangle like this, and then there's going to be another triangle peeking behind it. I'm going to come to the other side of my vanishing point and draw a little triangle like that, and another one here. Okay, and then to add a little bit of realism, I'm going to just add maybe some snow, or maybe it's a different color of dirt at the top of my mountains, just to make my landscape maybe a little bit more interesting. And I'm going to do it over there on the last one too. Then let's choose a spot for our sun. Some people might like to have it be a setting sun, so you could draw it down here. I like to have my sun kind of full in the sky, so I'm going to start with a circle and maybe some triangles for rays around it. Okay. You can add maybe some hot air balloons in the sky, maybe an airplane. I like to keep mine kind of nature, so I'm going to draw a couple of clouds in my sky, again, just to add some interest. Then it's time to think about showing perspective, or one-point perspective, even more by adding trees on either side of our road, okay? So a couple of things to think about when we're drawing our trees. As we get closer to the front of the page or the bottom of the page, they're going to be bigger and maybe have a little bit more detail. And then when they get back by that vanishing point, they're going to be smaller. okay? So you can do as many or as few. I like to do 2 different kinds of trees, just again to try and make it more interesting. On this side, I've drawn some evergreen trees, and on this side, I like to call them Y trees or broccoli trees, okay? So I'm gonna start way back in the back. On this side with a little evergreen, I'm gonna draw some zigzag lines on either side, and then just 2 little lines, nice and small, okay? And then on the other side, I'm gonna draw my Y tree or my broccoli tree by 2 little lines, not a lot of detail because it's way back in the back, and then a little curlicue around that stem or trunk for the top of my tree. Okay, then I'm going to move up just a little bit. I'm following along these diagonal lines that we drew, or sides of the triangle. I'm going to draw just a little bit bigger and a little longer the trunk of my next evergreen, and it's going to be just a little bit bigger. Okay, and on the other side, a little bit longer and a little bit bigger for my second Y tree. And I'm going to put the leaves around the top. Okay, I'm going to move down even further, closer to the front. I'm going to draw the trunk first, and then a zigzag line going up on the other side, and come over here and draw a little bit longer, a little bit bigger for my Y tree or broccoli tree, around like that. Okay, then I'm going to move down my vertical just a little bit further. And this one's going to get even bigger. Evergreen on one side and my Y tree on the other. And you just keep doing that till you get to the bottom of your page. Each time, try to get a little bit bigger, maybe a little bit more detail. Okay. And then over here for my Y tree, till you get down to the bottom, okay? And you can see that it gives you a sense that that road is going back into the paper, and giving us a sense of a realistic road, or a road that might look 3D and might actually take us somewhere. Okay, so just keep going until your trees are all the way down to the bottom of the page like this. Okay, and then because we're using notebook paper and just pencil today, maybe remember some of the techniques we talked about before. If you press really hard, you're going to get a nice dark value or dark color. Okay, another thing that you can do is you can use another piece of notebook paper or a piece of scrap paper, and I like to draw really hard, okay, like I'm drawing the trunk or something, okay, on that paper, so I get a nice hard spot, okay, and then if you rip off a paper or use a Kleenex or something, rub around in that nice hard spot that we've drawn, and for the sky, then I just rub around in the sky, and it gives us a nice light value here for a nice soft sky. Another thing you can do is color, like I did on the road. I colored first using my pencil, okay, and then rubbed around with my piece of paper or my Kleenex, and it gives us a nice, smooth, sort of blended look. Other things you can do, I used a kind of swirly motion here to make my broccoli tree leaves look kind of like they have a little bit of a texture. The other thing you can do is use the side of your pencil to get an even different value, and I did that on my mountains. So lots of different ways to come up with lots of different colors using just your pencil. When you're all done, remember it's kind of a mixed up year this year, so for my sketchbook, I found an old binder, and I can put my sketches in there and keep them all together for the year. Or you can find, maybe you have a notebook from last year, find where the blank pages start, and use that for your sketchbook too for this year. Okay, so lots of ways to keep your wonderful drawings all together so you'll have them for next year. Okay, so 1 point perspective, learning about the horizon line or where earth and sky meet, the vanishing point, that's why it's called 1 point, and things getting smaller and smaller and less detailed as you get towards that vanishing point or towards the background, okay? So be creative, have lots of fun with 1 point perspective. Bye.